Okay, folks, I'm super excited about this. I actually grabbed this box before I went out of town. I just got back into town, and now I see what this is. Now, I'm going to say this was not sent to me for the purposes of review, but it was sent to me because because I'm lucky enough to know Anna, who did this and many other wonderful decks. Now, one of her tarot decks, the Tarot of the Abyss, is one of my all-time favorite decks. Absolutely love it. It's really one of my tops. Um, and so I am biased in the sense that I do love her artwork, and love what she does. So, and she's an awesome person. So I'll just, you take that and do with it what you will. I love her artwork, and I love her as a person. This was not sent to me for review, but I did not purchase it. There you go. There's your disclaimers. Um, a lot of people, I mean, there's so many decks that you're going to know her by, but in terms of this tarot deck, which I didn't even know was finished, and apparently, and I saw yesterday on Facebook that this is on pre-order for maybe the next couple of weeks. So I thought, okay, I better hurry up and pop this on here. This is her Oracle of Echoes, which is an amazing oracle. The reason why this is such an amazing oracle is because it does, for two for two reasons. One, that you care about, and the second one that nobody but me cares about. The first reason is it's such a great oracle because it contains both light and shadow. It really does have, and it gives you a visceral, like that viscerally looks like fear, right? So you have a lot of, energies that you might expect, but then you also have to come up when you're feeling trapped. Those types of things. Your shadow self is there. Depression is there. There are shadow aspects to this deck, which is so powerful. So that, and there's not a lot of decks that do this really, really well, and she does. So that's one reason. I should say, one reason is the artwork is amazing. The second reason is it has both light and shadow. And then the third reason is, really, I'm the only person who cares. But it's a huge care for me. So when she was making this, she did ask people, like, what kind of cards do you want to see? And one of the things that I wanted to see was imperfect beauty. And this is a painting that she did from a black and white photograph that I took of my son. And you can really see at this point in his life, his spine was really curving and dropping over, because your lungs actually keep up your spine. And as his lung, and that was his weak side of his lung, was not over time able to hold it up, it started to collapse. So but it is absolutely amazing. One of the experiences that I had was, we had done I think it was like a 3D scan. I can't remember how they did it, but they did a whole scan, right? A bone structure scan of his spine. And so when we went into the office, they kind of did this where you were, I don't know how to describe it, but you were basically, it was a 3D rendition, and we could just literally follow, like, the spine and everything that had been captured. We were able to kind of follow it, like, in 3D. And it was such a powerful moment. Like, it was so devastating on one hand because, right, you're seeing sort of the collapse of your child's spine, and it was doing some devastating things like pinching off of his airway and things of that nature. And so it was devastating, right? But at the same time, it was really a really one of those moments that stick out where you just say the body is such an amazing thing, because they would just show where this was happening, but then the body was compensating, and the body was continually trying to compensate and make things work. We also saw this in my mom's brain. Actually, she had a heart, went in, had a stroke, had a heart failure, had to get rushed in for heart surgery, but we ended up finding out that she had had a stroke, unfortunately, after my son had passed, which that she didn't tell us about. And she knew it had happened because she had lost some ability to speak and some things like that briefly, and she never told anybody. But my point is that we could see in her brain scan, they came out with it, and they showed how she had had a previous stroke that had disrupted her language, her ability to speak, and it showed where the brain literally rerouted the blood supply to that speech section. And you could literally see how the brain was like, oops, like that's not working, and it rerouted itself to supply blood to there. And then her high blood pressure was actually helping to keep that reroute working. And so when they did the heart surgery, it dropped her blood pressure, which actually dropped, and they told us she may never speak again. They ended up being able to find sort of the right dosage to keep, enough blood supply, but not have her blood pressure so high, and it works out she can speak. But it was terrible, and it was the same thing, right? It was this imperfection. There's this flawed, something broke, but then the body found a way to reroute, and it's absolutely amazing what the body is capable of doing, and that not everything that is beautiful is what we might call perfect. It's imperfect beauty. Anyways, that's the card I wanted. This is an image of my son. All of my family members have a print of this. I have the original painting hanging right over there with some self-portraits that my son sketched of himself. And most of my family, I think all my family members, have a print of this hanging up in their house somewhere. So obviously, that's the third reason I am 100% biased to this deck, because it has that card in it. But truthfully, it's an amazing deck in and of itself. So there you go. That's the long answer as to why I love this deck so much. So this is Oracle of Echoes. Well, now and I knew she was doing this, I just didn't know that it was finished, but now she has gone through and done the whole Tarot of Echoes to obviously go along with this. Here's her lovely card and her lovely note, sending you a little gift. No guidebook, but when it goes mass market, it will have one then. This is just kind of her printing of it. And so I am so excited about this. Here's the back, which has the same sort of vibe to it. I like how she did this. I like that it is reversible. Do I care in terms of putting cards down? No, but I enjoy a good reversible back. And it's beautiful. So love it. Look, I'm telling you right now that this is going to be a love it, love it, love it, just because, again, I do really love her artwork. I love her colors as well. She is a watercolorist, although, again, I know she does other, has played around with other things, and she does amazing sculptures. But she's primarily a watercolorist, and yet her colorations are so vivid. You definitely don't get that sort of pale colorations with hers, and that's something that I love, because I love color like that. So let's take a look at these. Like, I love the Fool. I love his youthful appearance. I love, again, she tends to do Rider-Waite-Smith inspired decks, although I do feel like she also goes kind of, certainly with Tarot of Echoes, she kind of goes and does her own thing as well. So I wouldn't call them clones, but maybe inspired. And they are, I think, technically Rider-Waite-Smith decks. But so you've got the things that matter here. But I just, again, watch her skies. Her skies are gorgeous. He's gorgeous. There is a sense of innocence. And if he leaps, he's got wings. I like the inclusion of the wings. So beautiful. Look at the Magician. She looks powerful. We have the wands, right? Let me see what the suits are. Let me look here okay, so I don't know if she changes the name of the suits. We have swords, we have cups, we have one, nope, okay. Oh my goodness, this sorry, we're just going to peek ahead. Five of Pentacles in Rider-Waite-Smith decks is one of the cards that I always look to. I really love the Rider-Waite-Smith Five of Pentacles. I like the Two of Swords a lot. So there's certain minors that I look at with a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and Five of Pentacles is one. That is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at them. Okay. Sorry, we got to peek ahead. I didn't know. I just wanted to see if any of the suit names were changed. But we have her manipulating fire. We've got air going on outside of there. You just have the sense of power, right? Being manifested. Really less focused on, do we have all the individual, symbols? We have a wand, obviously, but for me, the Magician is about manifesting right into the physical world. So it shows all this crackling energy around her, and she's manifesting in the physical world, and she looks amazing, and she's an older woman, which is gorgeous. Here we have the High Priestess again, absolutely stunning. Love, love, love the sort of Circe, seer. I love the moon here because I always say, well, the moon is, if the suit of cups is our personal power base, the moon is the source energy, right? The High Priestess is an action of dipping into the energy of the moon and bringing it up into the personal power base. This is perfection. Absolute perfection for me. Empress is all of creation. That's amazing. Look at the eye. Let's try to zoom in on that. Look at that. That's amazing. That's just all of creation. In the cosmos, as above, so below. That's an interesting take on the Emperor and the Empress that I quite like, right? There is a sense of she is the everything, all that is created. The creation is here, right? Now he is holding the boundaries. He is holding things together. He's the ruler of what is here. She's the creator of what is to come. And that is really beautifully done in those two cards. Love that. Love this Hermit. Rename this the Wise One. Again, you've got to get up close on hers. She's like a combination, obviously, of watercolor and line drawings, but she does so much texture. See that? See all that texture she puts in with her line work? Also part of that she's using with her paints as well, but look at that. Look all the texture there with her line work. Absolutely amazing. That is what makes her art so stunning, I think. Look at the Lovers. Again, now we're going to have to look at the hair. I love her hair as well because, again, she puts so much line work in. Obviously, you can accomplish the idea of hair with, however much lines are needed, but she really brings hair to life, I think, because she does above and beyond with her line work. But even see in the folds, accentuating the folds of the fabric with the line art as well. It's just gorgeously done. Here's a chariot. Look at that. They are being pulled by dragons. Yeah, thank you. 100%. That really goes with the energy of. I feel like there's one with a dragon coming out. I could be thinking of a different deck, but of hers, but I think there is a dragon somewhere in here. Anyways, this one feels very much in the realm of, like, look at the ancestors card. Anyways, yes, love this. But this has that feeling of it. I absolutely love it. That's my birth card. And this, I mean, come on! I love strength cards, but there we've got the wolf and the beautiful red-haired woman. 100%. Yes. And yes, and yes. Here we have the Hermit. I love this. She's got some other ones where there are like scenes within the trees or whatever that are amazing. But look at, we've got the scene here, the Hermit going off into the mountain in his cloak. But look, in the actual lantern is another verse, so it's like going into it. And then obviously, if we consider it and think about it, we could go into the lantern and get another and another, you know what I mean? So that is really cool. Has that sense of limitless. And also that you're shining, so this journey of coming to wisdom is what he's actually shining out. Really gorgeous. This is also really beautiful. I am generally speaking not a fan of Wheel of Fortune cards. They're always like okay, not always. Most of the time they're okay. Like they're like, okay, that's a great card. But I just don't really love them. They're just kind of meh. I feel like people kind of wimp out on the Wheel of Fortune cards and just kind of go standard. But I love this joining hands on one side to another. It makes it almost like a portal. And if you'll notice, there are actually runes, right? There's Pertho and Algiz and Sowilo and Thurazaz and Kenaz and Yera. And I'm guessing that's Laguz. There's Rido there as well. So yes, please. Absolutely, yes, please. The turning of the wheel. I love it. Ooh, look at her. Look at that perspective. Sorry. She does also do really cool perspective. Here's Justice. She's amazing. She has her scales here. She is pulling back the cloak so that she can see clearly versus a blind Justice. I am happy with either one of those because Justice for me is about really seeing clearly. So I actually like that she's uncovering her eyes a lot. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Here we have the hang. Now we've got some Fae in here too. We've got the Hanged Man. Again, we're seeing it from below looking up, which is really cool. Love the perspective shift there. Absolutely love this. So there we've got both life, death being about actually the cycle of life and death. That is absolutely gorgeous. I even like that kind of feeling of as above, so below. It's all a turning of a giant wheel. What dies comes to life again. There is a cyclical feel. It's beautiful. Love Temperance. Look at that. I don't know if I've seen it other than in a deck that has the whole reversals like this. I don't know if I've ever seen a Temperance like that. We have those mixing. Are we leaning into the water and the receptive energy? Then we're leaning into the active and the fire energy. And it's a mixing of those two things that creates the powerful energy balance of Temperance. Look at the Devil. Very, very cool. Almost has sort of the original death kind of things, like some people who are afraid, some people are more calm and more peaceful. So it kind of has some of that feel to it, which is really interesting. It has a kind of feeling of ghosts. What things are we trapped by? What things are we giving power to and power over? Are we giving away our power to these different things? So really interesting take on the devil, and beautifully done. Nothing I can't do with that. Love this tower. Love the shattering of the lantern as well, is really cool. There can be that momentary loss of wisdom when we have like this moment where everything comes crashing down. But then the next question of the tower is, now what are you going to do to rebuild? So that's pretty cool. Here we have the Star card. Again, an interesting perspective. You're like up above and seeing sort of, instead of looking up at a star, you're up above and looking at the star, which the ability to navigate is within yourself with the Star card. And that's that trust. Instead of the fool trusting the world, the star trusts herself to navigate. So I love that she's looking that up, but it's actually, we're looking down and seeing that she's got the key to navigation within her. That's really cool. That's absolutely stunning moon card. I don't even know what else you want me to say. Look at the, like the three fates are all around her. Look at the high priestess swimming in the waters. Like, it's absolutely stunning. This may be one of my absolute favorite moon cards. I love this. I love that so much. And then look at the sun. Equally powerful. On fire. That is, the person is on fire. Absolutely gorgeous. Complete containment of power after all of that work. And because for me, the Sun card is about the mastery of power. It's happiness, yes, but it's happiness because we have done the work and mastered ourselves, and can only come from ourselves. And this depicts that perfectly. Versus a naked baby. Again, no, they're traditional. They're just not my favorite. This is stunning set of cards here. Here we have the Awakening. This is really gorgeous. Look at it. Can you see the crying here? But look at, it's like there's a reflection on the past and the road at which we've gone down, right? So there's all of this reflection here. But then now there's a looking up, and now we see it starting to open up because you're going to actually go in a new direction. But we do have to reflect on the past before we can move to the new, to whatever is next. So quite powerful. And the beautiful World card. Look at again. Sorry, I know I'm holding it up a lot, but look at, so she's now holding full circle and coming back around to the birth of something new. Absolutely beautiful. Day and night. Gorgeous. Okay, so that is the majors. They're stunning. I have nothing to say but that. Now, this is Rider-Waite-Smith. What I love about Terror of the Abyss is that she gives alternatives. I don't believe, from just a quick skimming to peek, that there are alternatives unless it's at the end. No, the ends. Oh, love him. Oh, love her. Oh, love the quartz and the pentacles. Wow. Sorry, I just peeked, but you didn't get to see. So there are not alternative cards. I do love alternative cards, and it was kind of her fault for doing it and doing it so well. But this one does not have alternatives. So let's take a look. This is my suit. I love that swords are first. So here we have the Ace of Swords. Again, lots of head understanding. I love the feathers coming over. I love the understanding that this is this like climb full through the process of knowledge, strategizing, facing challenges and finding a way around those challenges. So I like all that this contains. I'm going to keep this out to look at the other ones. Here's a powerful Two of Swords. right? The Two of Swords is so interesting because it looks like she is healing. Again, we don't have a guidebook at this point, so I'm just going off what I see. But here we have this crack that's kind of stopping the way. And now there is this kind of needing to heal and heal this space and bring this together. That's very interesting. For me, the Two of Swords is about bringing the head and the heart together, and that's what's going to allow us to move forward. I can still 100% get there with this card. So I do think this is really beautiful. There's a way in which we have to close the divide in some way or another in the situation in order to have movement forward, and this works gorgeously. Very sad Three of Swords. I know in Rider-Waite-Smith, the Three of Swords, you can see the echo of the original, but the Three of Swords is about, for me, is growth of the mind, and we can grow through sad things, and we can grow through powerful, positive things as well. The Rider-Waite-Smith is seeing this as the lost card. That's the Five of Cups for me. So I can still get here. This is definitely firmly rooted in lessons learned. I like the way that she's emerging out of water. Now, some might say she's sinking into water because of sadness. I can read this as her emerging out of the water. She's learning from her past. She is learning and she's growing, and she's about to stand up and move up and continue growing. So I can definitely utilize this, even though it is very much more of a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith take. Beautiful Four of Swords. I love that she's sleeping in the seashell. Has a very fae connotation here that I love. Just beautiful. Here we have the Five of Swords with the creepy hand. Again, this is definitely leaning on the at what cost, right? Here we have a man ruling, right? Ruling the throne, very Game of Thronesy, right? But what cost of what put him there? It would be 100% how you would read this card. Now, for me, it's just a shakeup in the mental space. So for me, I can still get there, right? We've got somebody who's very firmly seated on his throne, very firmly seated in his way of thinking, and the way he's going to have to rethink a lot of things. Things are about to get shook up in the way that he sees things, and that's sometimes a good thing and that's sometimes a bad thing. So I like that either way. Beautiful Six of Swords. Six of Swords is one card in the Rider-Waite-Smith I love. And this is such a strong one, right? We don't even have somebody both hunched over in the just kind of floating away. We normally see the perspective of the Six of Swords from the back. Like here, over here is the fire and the war, and they're usually going in this direction here, but in this case she's coming at us with the world on fire behind her, but she's still strong and she's moving forward. That is so powerful. That's a strong Six of Swords. Here we have the Seven of Swords. I do like this because there's a little bit of levity to this, a card that is not normally there. It's usually like, what is going on, right? What is happening here? Why is this person stealing these swords or whatever? They're stealing something. Here we've got somebody that has stolen their clothes, and now they are stuck naked in the water. So it's a little, definitely more humorous than you would normally see the Seven of Swords. Look a little deeper and you might get a peep show. My response to the Seven of Swords is that we don't just take things at face value, really figure out, see what's going on here. I do feel like there's a dress here as well as a male's hat. So without their clothes, these people may be put into a very compromising position. There may be going on more. We think this is kind of funny and in good fun, but there could be something more going on. So still works. Absolutely beautiful Eight of Swords. This very much feels like the art style. A little bit more looser, a little more abstract built in. That one really feels like Oracle of Echoes. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, look at how vivid the colors are. And then you're allowing that movement of watercolor as well to really play out. So absolutely gorgeous. The Nine of Swords is seen as the Nightmare card. I don't see it as the Nine. And again, that's Rider-Waite-Smith. I don't have a problem with the Nine of Swords, a Rider-Waite-Smith style. For me, yes, the Nine of Swords can be very overwhelming. And if you have real fears or real concerns, they can get exaggerated. But we can also use the energy of the Nine of Swords really powerfully. So I don't prefer the nightmare aspects to be strong in the Nine of Swords, but it's not something that's hard for me to work with it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So again, there does seem to, for me, to be a thread of some Fae energies here, even with the Fool, that are threaded in with it, and the dragons. And so I really like, I like that very much as someone who works with Fae. That's really cool. Love this Ten of Swords. I love this Ten of Swords because look at all of the swords and things, the challenges that she's faced along the way are actually falling. And she's got her hand, and for me, she's about to put that other hand up, and she's going to climb up. I see the Ten of Swords very much as she's going to stand up, and now we're seeing the creation of the Queen of Swords when I look at the Ten of Swords, and this really works. Yes, it's scary. All the tens can be powerful and overwhelming, and so I can read this even though I understand the point of this Rider-Waite-Smith style. But for me, everything is just dropping away, and it's just her and what she's learned, and she's about to reach that hand up, pull herself up, and then she is going to step into the power of the Queen of Swords, or she's going to let go, and she is just going to float because she's going to be the Queen of Swords. Either way, that works really well for me, so I can deal with that. Here we have the Page of Swords, absolutely amazing. Very elemental feel to the page, and then the Queen. The Knight, he is, okay, check it out. I like the airiness of the actual sword and more of a rapier feel to the sword, but he is going to focus and move forward. Again, she's stunning. She is perfectly comfortable in the element of air, and the same thing with the King. I love the chess piece. Very, very King of Swordsy feel to that. So really gorgeous. Love the quartz. I saw the Pentacle quartz, and I loved those as well. Very strong quartz so far. There we have now the Ace of Cups. Again, for me, so she's got people in the aces, but this is the pinnacle, right? This is somebody fully contained. It's the potential and the fullness of the suit of the mind, and the fullness and the potential of the suit of our personal power, and this 100% embodies that. So this is exciting for me. I like the key here with the Two of Cups. It's the bringing the two energies together and balance that is the actual key. I love that. Beautiful Three of Cups. Again, traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. We have the three women, but these women do feel completely connected, completely at one. It's really beautiful. Growth in our power means a growth in our connections to others. Really beautiful Four of Cups. I like that she doesn't look, for me, bored. I don't read it as boredom. Again, I understand the Rider-Waite-Smith system. I don't read it. It's stable energy. So for me, it's more like, no, I really don't need to take on anything else right now. I'm in a good, stable space. And she looks beautiful and stable and doesn't look bored. So I quite like that. For me, again, I understand the system and I respect the system for people who want to use it so they can see their system in it, but I like to see, can I go to where I need to go? Again, look at the sky. Her skies are stunning. I love this field of poppies, and so that just, we have that grief there, but she can also turn and go up or down the road. She can turn and run into the field. At some point she has to turn and keep going on her journey with life, forever changed, but still move forward. It's absolutely beautiful. Love the Six of Cups. Oh, I remember back when I was a lad on the seas, right? That nostalgia and that memory there is quite beautiful. Very beautifully depicted there. Beautiful Seven of Cups, right? And like, there's so many things that can distract you in this. Pick your point of reference, pick your dream, and go for it. Don't be distracted, but really hold your dreams and move towards them. Really beautiful. This is a gorgeous Eight of Cups. Absolutely. I love the half and half and the sort of black and white or sepia maybe moving into the color. This is done. Again, I don't see the Six of Cups as what is, Eight of Cups as what is done being negative, but it is done. It's fading into the background as he moves on. We don't see the moon prominently, which we often do see in Rider-Waite-Smith style decks, but I really like this sort of the fading off. This whatever's here has had its day, and now it's a new journey that's being taken. It's really a beautiful take on the card. Here we have the Nine of Cups here. I like the wishing well in the back and this idea that the wish fulfillment is coming through really beautiful with the Nine of Cups. And then the Ten of Cups, you know, sort of that happily ever after. It's the coming together of family that we see in the Rider-Waite-Smith, generally with like a rainbow over the top of the head, but it's that sort of coming together as a family. And then we have in the Ten of Pentacles more of the legacy kind of going onward and onward. So again, standard to the Rider-Waite-Smith, but beautifully depicted. I love, again, the Page of Cups, youthful playing with the energy. We have the Knight of Cups. We have our first horse and more of that sense of movement. I like the rose in hand, more of the chivalry feel of the knights. With the Knight of Cups. Now, none of them are so far on horseback and having that real strong movement that we see sometimes with the knights, but I like the holding of the rose, whereas we have with the Knight of Swords, he was holding the sword there, but it felt like a very airy sword. So the focus is more on what they're focused on than that movement, but we know he's going to jump on this horse and ride off. Beautiful Queen of Cups, listening to her intuition, in tune with her personal power. And what a sweet King of Cups. What an absolutely sweet King of Cups. I love this. I'm not often a fan of King of Cups. Really, a lot of the kings are kind of... I usually do like the King of Swords. People do good jobs with them. But I'm not off... So there's just... I don't know. Kings can be funny. This is really beautiful. I love that. Love the Ace of Wands. Now, you think, right, on a glance that, oh, there's no people. Oh, yes, there is. Literally become one with the flame. Yeah. Gosh, that's gorgeous. Love the Two of Wands. Very much the setting of the course. Very much a pulling apart, right? The energy, because twos are all about, you know, energy that's pulling apart or pulling together, and the Wands is often seen as sort of pulling apart and creating that path, and that's really quite beautiful. Here we have the Three of Wands. Now, this is definitely a Rider-Waite-Smith waiting card. Because I read numerically, the threes are growth. I prefer, say, wands that have fire in them, and you're feeding the fire, or you're some way, like, continuing to put energy into a situation that you're trying to create. Whereas this is more of that, you know, again, beautiful rendition of the Rider-Waite-Smith three waiting. I can take this and run with it, right? Because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, fine. This is Merlin, right? This is a powerful wizard. And while he looks like he's just sitting there, he is most likely, you know, continuing to feed energy and draw those ships back back into port. That's how my numerical brain can take a Rider-Waite-Smith deck and transform it. But it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, skyline's gorgeous. Everything about this is beautiful. And he's very powerful. And again, she does hair so well. Here we have the Four of Wands. Beautiful. Pause, celebrate, be present with what you have right now. There's time to continue to move onward. Again, it looks like to me, yeah, it looks to me like there's like fae or spirit energy. Oh, look at that. Yes, in there as well. I do feel like there is most definitely an energy of fae sprinkled in throughout here that I quite love. It's not in your face, although there's some quite obvious, but it seems to be sprinkled all through it that I love. Five of Wands, that competitive nature, that bashing of heads, but we're going to learn something from it. That's a strong Five of Wands. Here we have the Six of Wands. This is so interesting, right? So the Six of Wands is that sort of the achievement, but look, like she looks like she's performing on the top of this mountain, and her ancestors are the ones that see what she is doing, or her past selves are all coming together. Like there's so much you could do with this for if you work with ancestors, or if you work with like past lives and things like that, this kind of reaching a pinnacle that is observable, that is kind of a culmination, not just of this moment, but of many, many moments behind it. I love that. Love, love, love the Seven of Wands, right? Very Robin Hood, very ranger in the woods. My current D&D character, not that I'm DMing, but that I play, her husband has passed on, but he is connected to her, and so he follows her, and people that can see spirits can see him, and this is very much looks like him. And in fact, he can once per day, like when she is flagging, and for some reason he feels like he needs to, he can step into her body with his bow. So this is very much, I love this for me. I love this. Here we have an interesting Eight of Wands, right? So Eight of Wands in Rider-Waite-Smith is generally a swiftness card. Never loved that. 8 is a number of mastery. But this is like mastery of time. For me, again, this is just me. Because a lot of times you'll say with the Eight of Wands, like you need to hold and wait for that perfect moment, and then you let go of the arrow, then you shoot your shot, right? Then you grab hold of what's ahead of you in that right moment. And that very much shows that, right? We're mastering time, we're honing our energy until just the right moment and releasing it. That's really powerful. Here we have the Nine of Wands. I really like this protective stance here. Again, you have the typical Rider-Waite-Smith where he's kind of got the bandages. He has already seen much battle, right? He's already done that, and he's a little tired and he's a little wore down. Nines are very overwhelming, and yet he's holding the line. And it's not just some random line, but he's holding the line in protection of others, which is really leads to the Ten of Wands, because the Ten of Wands is somebody who may be bent and is holding and carrying a lot of power, but they're doing it, and they're doing it well, right? They're doing it for the sake of what is important to them. So this nine, blends well, I think, with the energy of especially with the Rider-Waite-Smith energy of the Ten of Wands there. So really very neat combo there. Again, I love the energy of the page playing, dancing. So there has that physically embodying power. A very angelic knight, with a fiery sword instead of the Aries swords. This definitely feels like this is what, see, I grew up with angels as not being like cherubs. I mean, I know there were cherubim in the Bible, but when the type of Christianity that I grew up with. Angels were warriors. They were, yes, absolutely beautiful. Yes, they were absolutely powerful, but they were warriors, right? They were warriors, and there were battles that were being fought. And so this, to me, is the most that I've seen an angel like look like I would see a biblical angel looking. So you feel like this is an archangel stepping forward with his wand. Quite powerful. She is awesome and very fiery and very comfortable with her power. Really gorgeous. And so is he with his dragon. The most stately, like I love the intimacy and the vulnerability of the king of water. This is a ruling king, right? This is very much a ruling king, and he's powerful. Again, we have a perspective of like being in front, and they're reaching out and handing the key here with the Ace of Pentacles. That is really interesting. She looks like she's in a field, but your resources are the key to how you're navigating your world, I suppose. So again, people in all, again, this doesn't seem like it, but there is a person in there as well. Love it. Here we have the Two of Pentacles. Very interesting. Looks like a fairy tale with the goose boy and the goose who laid a golden egg, which again, I love the inclusion of sort of fae and fairy tale energy here. And this also balancing, what are you going to put down, right? You might just put those coins down and just hold on to the golden egg versus losing it all. Here we have the Three of Pentacles working together. Beautiful Four of Pentacles. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of Rider-Waite-Smith Four of Pentacles, like with the greedy card. And so is he holding on to his coins? Yes. And can you, as a Rider-Waite-Smith reader, get to the greediness and hoarding his wealth? Sure. But for me, who doesn't read it that way, I can still, this one works for me. He's not out at the market just putting his money out into the world, because right now is not the time to do that. Right now is the time to be stable in your wealth and not be throwing it around. So this works for me either way. So I love when that happens. Again, I already told you, I absolutely love this Five of Pentacles, and I adore this. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Mary Poppins, I mean, come on. On the streets of the city, I can't remember how it starts, in something cathedral. Da-da, da-da, da, da, da. Anyways, I love this so much. I cannot even tell you. And I really love that she doesn't even look like a wealthy woman, right? She just looks like a normal, everyday woman, doesn't maybe even have a ton of money. But it's just this exchange of energy between all of this that's just beautiful. Absolutely love it. Seven of Pentacles, having patience. He's picking what can be picked, but he's leaving on what needs to stay on longer. So I think that is really gorgeous. Here we have the Master, right? I love the violin here, because I can imagine you really have to master your skills. So in the Three of Pentacles in Rider-Waite-Smith, we again often have that working with others. But when we get to the Eight, and Eight is a number of mastery, we have sort of having mastered your field, right? Your occupation. So we can definitely see that. Beautiful Nine of Pentacles. She has everything. What's interesting here is that, you know, in the five, and I sat there and just shuffled these, so I'm not going to find it. But in the Five of Cups, there was that poppy field, and there was that being stopped in the road by her shake-up in her emotions. But here we actually have somebody that's in that field. I feel like we can see that she's moved on. She's found her space to put her time and her energy into, and kind of the fullness of her resources there. And then a beautiful Ten of Pentacles. Again, with the, in Rider-Waite-Smith with the Ten of Cups, we see the first generation, right, of family in the traditional sense. Obviously, we know there's many different ways. I know a lot of people don't particularly love the traditional renditions of the Ten of Cups, but it does go then with the Ten of Pentacles, and that sort of first generation, and then we're moving on to seeing the many generations and the energies that we put into place that are going to continue to go on and to be the next generation and the next generation. So then we have the legacy. We have that starting of that, and then we see the legacy effect in the Ten of Pentacles. So it's quite beautiful together when you're seeing all the generations. Here we have the Page of Pentacles out and running about in the field. We have I love that the Knight of Pentacles is holding, again, I think that's where these knights really shine, is that they seem to be whole. It's not so much about they're on a horse and they're running off willy-nilly, which obviously is a great, easy to tie in, right, to the knights, but I actually love that they are each holding sort of a key part of the element of their suit, and this is growing things, which does take time. We had the Knight of Cups holding the rose, and you see more of that romantic, chivalrous, growing, but from the soul and from the heart. And then the most active of the suits, we have the Knight of Air holding the Sword of Air, and the Knight of Fire, or Wands, holding the fire sword. Beautiful Queen of Pentacles, very much in her environment. And same thing with the King of Pentacles, like literally out in the fields or into the woods. Queen of Pentacles is the Mother Earth, more so. And I like how this really stands out in this deck, because I'm not a big fan, even though I understand the Mother Earth and the Empress. Can I find it? But truly, the Empress is the mother everything, right? Mother Universe, whereas the Queen of Pentacles is the Mother Earth. So I do like that those kind of do not blend in this deck. That you can really distinctly see this is somebody in the physical earthy world, and this is this more of creation energy as a whole. That's really gorgeous. So there we go. All of the cards, oh, I am really whopper-jawed. I'm going to have to fix so that's been, well, for what we just did, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to have to fix, let's see. Now you can see my terrible space there. I think we got it straight now. That was whopper-jawed. Let's give this a shuffle. Good playing card shuffle. It sounds like this is going mass market. So obviously eventually it's going to have different card stock, but this riffle shuffles really well. Now all I have is Feed the Birds going in my head. Oh my goodness. I love the backs on this. Let's just lay this out in my normal, my version of the Celtic cross. It's like my version. We have our centered in the present. We have the past, which is of course influencing the present choices that are going to lead to the future card here. And then we have the 4 elements. I kind of changed these up just because I've done a lot of work with the elements in a certain way, and so I've kind of changed mine up. I used to always do fire, air, water, and earth, but I've started to do water and fire because water is our inner power and fire is how we manifest it outward. And then doing air because air is where we make our plans and then we manifest them out into the world in this position of earth. So I've kind of changed that up a little bit for myself, but it's still the 4 elements as it always has been. And then the as above, so below, or the do this, don't do this that I often do. Just it's a good spread because there's a bunch of cards on the table to just show how they look. Again, full of vibrancy, of color. Her line work gives the texture that is quite beautiful. It's really quite a gorgeous deck. Definitely Rider-Waite-Smith based. With some couple exceptions, and for the most part, ones that I can work my way around as someone who doesn't read strictly Rider-Waite-Smith. So quite beautiful. Excited. I don't have a color version, like I don't have an on a deck that is color, like I have Oracle of the Abyss, Tarot of the Abyss, which I use a lot, but that's obviously a black and white, and I have obviously Oracle of Echoes. She also has one that she did with somebody in Europe that is a King Arthur or an Arthurian. I don't know what it's called at the top of my head, but it's like King Arthur, but it's not in English. I hope that it comes out in English. So I know she's got that one out as well. I know she did the Bone Stone with Avalon. But for tarot, of her decks, I've just had Tarot of the Abyss, which is black and white. So I'm actually really excited to have a tarot deck of hers that is in full color. And again, love the coloration, love the boldness. I love that there is this fae energy sprinkled in that I think is great for somebody like me. Absolutely love this. Bead the Birds. Love that card. And I think this may be my favorite ever King of Cups. There is such a sweetness and a intimate moment with a powerful king that I actually think is really gorgeous. Sometimes we see this kind of intimacy with the King of Pentacles when we'll sometimes see like children sitting on the King of Pentacles lap, kind of going off of that 10 of Pentacles legacy energy. So sometimes we'll kind of see that in the King of Pentacles, but I've not ever seen, I don't think, the sweeter, and I don't mean that as a less powerful, but it's just beautiful. That definitely has blown me away. So I'm excited to work with this 100,000%. Now, obviously, then let me pull these up. You can mix and match. I will say that the artwork, and I'm not sad about this because I love Oracle of Echoes. But I also don't know if I need like a fully more abstract-y tarot deck because it definitely doesn't have that, other than a couple of the cards and it fits. It doesn't have that full-on abstract. Like if I did, like a lot of times I'll do a Port in the Storm reading is one I do a lot. So I always use a tarot deck and a Oracle deck combo. But the bottom part of my of that spread is that we're looking at as you go out, because it's like, okay, where's the port that you need to step out of the stormy water? What should you be doing while you're there? And then when you go back out onto the waters, what is your star to navigate by? So you get that sort of information in the first 3 cards. But then the second set of cards is I usually pull it with an Oracle deck, and it's about understanding there's going to be difficulties and challenges, and so I pull a card for what's that main difficulty, and then how can you best respond to that? Now, I think that now you read whatever's in the position of the challenge as a challenge, whatever the card is, you're reading it in shadow. And however, you get your second one is your best way to meet that. So you're going to, if you get a difficult card, you just have to, think about that. I love that. But I think this would be an excellent card, a deck for that. And so now that because I do get matchy-matchy with my Port in the Storm, it's just, it's just me. But so this would be amazing to show up and say, okay, one of the things that you're really going to struggle with as you go out is this feeling of loss in whatever way, depending on what the reading that I'm doing, right? And then how are you going to best approach that? And then, of course, you have this inner child. Now, obviously, this could go here, right? And so then you're going to have to just do a little more thinking, right? And say, okay, so what's going to be more challenging is getting in touch with your inner child. It's going to be really difficult to tap into that. And then you're going to have to read Loss and Light and say, okay, well, you need to recover what you have lost so that you can tap into that again. Again, it's just faking my way. My point is that I think this is going to be amazing for me for this particular reading, because this deck will read really good for that position. I do a lot of these Port in the Storm readings, so and I just have a couple sets that I use, and this is 100% going in the rotation for that, because that's going to be a wonderful combination there. So super excited. Obviously, again, I am not claiming this is an unbiased. I just love her artwork, and so I'm super excited because now I have a colored tarot deck with her artwork in it to work with, and I'm very excited about that. So there we go. I hope that you have enjoyed this, and that again, I think I'll put a link to her website, because I don't really know the details here, but I saw on Facebook yesterday, and that's what made me think I need to get that out. I did see that the pre-order for this version of it is like 2 weeks or something like that left. Don't quote me on that. Go check it out for yourself. But I hope that you've enjoyed this look, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.